Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Scale is Needed. Armen Hammer, Kyle Bogart. Are you watching us right now?
Maybe.
Awesome. You spend 1 week. You spend 1 week away from the podcast, and you're just a rookie all of a sudden.
All over again.
Kyle, I haven't asked you this
All
before,
over
but
again.
did you watch the missing episode?
Of what?
The one with you missing.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I did not. I have no
We
interest
called
in this
you.
podcast.
We called you live on
during
air.
the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
did
it
that
went
phone.
my phone.
Oh, that's where
You know the missing call you got from Armen?
That's weird because I really don't think I
That's
was
brutal.
Oh, check
That
that.
was really brutal.
Make sure you actually have Armen's number.
Hey guys, we
Yeah.
have a request to put Chris back into Kyle's chair.
Ooh.
No!
Oh,
shit.
You know what it is?
Kyle, you need
Shit.
to show off your arm because
It's
my
the
arm
fucking
is
arm.
spectacular.
That's-
The
it is
whole
the arm.
episode was only the
Yeah.
arm.
This is pretty good, though, right? You guys?
I think let me just stand up to give a side-by-side
Let's
comparison.
not stand
real
up,
Let's-
though. Let's just sit down
You
and
know,
have a
I'm
podcast.
not sure if the cameras are made.
Yeah,
for
I don't
that.
know
we just have a
Holy
podcast?
crap.
They're very
We're
stationary.
gonna
There
topple
are
some
not
cameras
operators
over.
there.
Stack them on top of each other there.
Yeah, see? Pretty impressive, right? Yeah.
This
that's right.
is
Strength is happening.
this
You smell weird.
dude.
It's getting oddly sexual.
We just got 10,000 viewers live right there. That
We
was
did actually get a
incredible.
spike at that
Just,
point.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the
got a spike.
Yeah. Damn it. It wasn't just in our Facebook Live viewership. I'll tell you that. Cliff Bogart, Daniel, you guys are here as well. We got the handsome cam with Chase,
Yo.
who cannot do anything other than this movement, like just a slight increase in the elevation of his arm due to Murph.
Yeah, I have rhabdo, 100%.
Oh,
this is my last
So-
show.
Chase is on his way out, guys.
So what color was your pee?
It's black.
Inky black.
It's like that. That
Oh,
logo
awesome.
black.
So
As black as my soul? Are you pointing at me and my soul? My black soul?
Chase did not his first Murph ever, but his first Murph with a weight vest straight through,
Jesus Christ.
and was
decisions.
okay yesterday.
I felt fine.
Yeah. So how's Rhabdo working out for you? Are you enjoying it?
It's great because I thought you could work your way through it.
Uh-huh.
You know, like do so much that you just broke through the other
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
So
exactly,
I did
yeah.
45 muscle ups yesterday.
Yeah, you guys,
Perfect.
we hired the smartest fucking guy.
I like how
possible.
I like how that was to say. It's like, listen, I need a recovery day, something that's not going to be too demanding. I know what I'm going to do. 45 muscle
Honestly,
ups.
I can't make fun of him for making terrible decisions because I literally did 30 muscle ups this morning.
Ah,
so
perfect.
so either we're
But
both
what color
we're
was
both
your pee?
really smart in the same way or both really dumb in the same way.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you know you had Rhabdo when you did the 45 things?
Oh, I suspect.
Well, I can't disrespect either of you because if you gave me the next week to accomplish 45 muscle ups, I would not be able to do it.
Good times.
Yeah, that would be that's not an insufficient amount of time. for me.
Exactly. We could give you a year. That might work.
Yeah,
And
'cause
the
I could
first-
just
the first-
starve
the
myself
first
for the 6 months.
Exactly. The first 11 months of the year
Yeah.
would consist of not eating anything to
It's
the
true.
point where you can diet down to muscle up size, which is what I plan on doing.
Yes.
In fact, I'm going to make this bold prediction for myself
Oh, no.
anyway, to get a muscle up by
Wait,
Come on.
I have a brilliant idea. I have a brilliant beyond brilliant idea.
What's that?
Start. All right, someone get a stopwatch on your computer.
Oh yeah.
Cliff and I, 30 muscle ups for time.
Ooh.
Go. And we'll see. All right, everyone, mark your calendars because the contest has started. The first one to get 30 muscle ups, because it's like I could run to the gym right now and try. I'm not going to get one, but I can start crash dieting immediately and then eventually once I've lost a
So what I will do, I will find a way to get a constant stopwatch. It will start after this podcast, but we'll start
After
maybe
the
we'll start
podcast.
it next week. How about that?
Yeah, we'll start an
next
online
week
timer.
during the podcast. We'll start an
Perfect.
online timer, and it'll just go until 30 muscle
Now-
ups.
All right, Scales Nation, you've heard it here. Which one of us is going to get to 30
I'm gonna make
muscle
this.
ups
I'm gonna
first?
make this more interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Between not just Cliff and Kyle, but between Cliff, Kyle, and Daniel.
He might actually be able to gain
He
the
might
mass
be able to do it faster
we
than
lose.
you guys can, honestly. But hold on
I
a
dig it,
second.
I
I'm
dig it,
curious. Cliff, you said you were going to set a goal. You want to do a muscle up by, and
I was
and
trying to think of a goal and improvise it.
I rudely laughed in the middle of your
I
sentence.
know. I will say, here's the thing. Body weight wise, if I get sub 250, sub 250 pounds.
Oh, that's completely doable. Fat
is
guys
completely
like
doable,
Derek
exactly.
Robinson do muscle ups all the time.
Yeah, I'm sub 250 pounds ish. Now I'm right at about 250. I can't do a muscle up.
I know, but if I'm sub 250, I can
Yes, you would
because
be much
of these
leaner.
fucking arms.
That's right. That's true. I didn't think about those.
Muscle ups are mainly a bicep movement.
Yes, there
For
you
me,
go.
they will be. But I think, 'cause here's the thing. I am hovering just barely above 300 pounds right now, and I plan on going full hard keto, following our good buddy Mark Bell's advice.
There you go.
From
Starting
a month ago.
Exactly.
ago.
It takes a while. I need to finish this current RP cycle, but starting in July-ish, I'll be like 100% super lose weighty keto.
That's right.
So
Are you okay with losing some strength?
I am counting on it at this point.
Yeah.
I have to accept that fact.
Now, see, the thing about keto is that you don't necessarily need to lose all of your gains, right? You just have to definitely change the way you train.
Yeah.
And
I'm
what
currently looking for suggestions.
I don't think that. So like, I was signed to Burkle, to Clark Burkle, who's the GM for swimming, who's a fucking unit of a human being.
He's an
and
Olympian,
an
like
Olympic
an
silver
actual
medalist.
Olympian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, really? He's an actual Olympian?
yeah, silver medalist,
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought he was.
I never knew that.
gold
I
medalist.
think he won a gold medal.
I can't remember.
In what?
It was
Not
in
know
a-
that.
Can you Google
relay?
this?
Yeah, Google this.
Chase,
Yeah.
could you
Or
please
just
Google
poke
this?
your head out the door and ask
Hey,
him.
Burkle,
someone.
what
Yeah.
color is
That's
your
fucked up.
Olympic medal?
Yeah, see, I don't get this. I've interacted with this guy and had meetings with him a whole bunch of times, and I've not known he had a medal. If I had an Olympic medal,
I would
just
wear it to the
that
office
all the
every
time.
day.
Right.
I would introduce every time I shake someone's hand, it'd be, "Hi, I'm Cliff Bogart."
Olympic
gold
medalist.
Yeah.
Well, he has the tattoo.
Yeah,
the
he
ring
does have the
tattoo,
tattoo,
which
yeah. Oh, I
is
missed that.
honestly, if you're talking about like tattoos for, he has a fucking
has a
Wikipedia page,
fucking
and it's
Wikipedia
not even a
page.
stub. It's like a real page.
It's a page.
Holy shit!
It is a page.
All right, so let's see.
Wow,
he was
he's
a
my
finalist.
age.
He was a final. He finished second in the 2-meter breaststroke qualifying. And, okay, so he's not a medalist. He's not a medalist. He qualified.
Bummer.
And he was 6th at the Olympics.
Oh, 6th at the
Sorry.
Olympics. Right, there you go.
All right, so fair enough. He's still an Olympian.
Good.
Which is why you didn't know that he's a medalist, because he's not a medalist.
Oh,
So
yeah.
anyway, I was talking to Burkle about
Just
it.
an Olympian.
Just an
right.
Olympian.
Why? I mean, he should. Why even get the tattoo?
Which,
it's
that's
only
the
going
thing.
to invite.
If you're talking, you're gonna
Just
just
people
invite,
shitting on
yeah.
you for not meddling.
Yeah, he has the tattoo, and so does some fat guy from Minnesota who's a curler.
Yeah,
so
so there you go.
really,
Oh, yeah.
doesn't that just bring down the value of
Yeah.
that tattoo?
Yeah.
What he really should do
They're
is
really
something like
flooding
a
the market with those
half
medals,
Iron Man and get just half of the M.
That's right.
That's what he needs. Anyway, so
like a real man would.
I was talking to Burkle about ketogenic diet, and I was basically telling him that instead of doing things like 5s or 8s or 10s, God forbid you do anything more than 10s, you just won't have the energy to do that sort of thing. You have to do like 1s, 2s, and 3s. Like that's all you've basically got when it comes to your squats, your deadlifts, your presses.
Like
At least
big,
for a
heavy
little
ones,
while.
2s and
Yeah.
3s.
Yeah, at least for a little while, because like you just don't have anything that's gonna dip into like glycogen. You're not gonna have it
Yeah.
in order to dip into it.
Yep. My only possible thought there is like when I start dieting, all my joints just go to hell there. Now, keto dieting might be different. Maybe the inflammation won't be so bad, but doing heavy 1s and 2s there doesn't seem like the best
you
feeling
can
way to
play with it. Like Mark Bell is doing a lot of
Yeah.
speed work. Right, so he's doing more dynamic movements. He's
Bands
doing
and
like
chains.
bands and chains, but even without bands and chains, you can do like box squats with like really aggressive, explosive, finishes, I guess. But either way,
Phrasing.
phrasing. Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants. So I think you basically have to turn everything into HIIT training.
Yeah.
High intensity intervals. Like everything has to be that way.
And I've been watching some people. I've been looking into it just the last couple of weeks and reading. And some people do periodic glycogen replenishment, carb days. Like eating healthy carbs once every other week, or once every 2 weeks, or once a week for some people. I think for people who are naturally leaner, they can maintain it because it only takes it only takes a day or so to maybe 48 hours for some to re-enter a state of ketosis. So for some people, I guess depending on genetics, they can lose a bunch of weight during the week. They can replenish their glycogen on the weekend by eating healthy carbs or a birthday cake or a bag of sugar with their hand.
Yeah,
whatever you do.
I think you're probably right that there are some people for whom that would work.
Probably not best for us.
Yeah, I think about 50% of the table here it does not apply to.
Nope. I can see myself ordering just one Domino's large pizza, and then the night is young.
Murdering the delivery boy,
eating
all the
Domino's pizza
in his car.
But
eat the Domino's pizza and the delivery boy.
No, it's very noble. He uses every part of the delivery boy.
That's true. That's very good.
We have a viewer, Calum.
We have one viewer. Hey, Calum, welcome to the show.
Calum,
thank you so much.
Thank
really
you. No,
appreciate
seriously, Calum. Thank you.
Yeah. If you told one person and that one person told one person, we would have 3 or 4 people watching.
That's a grassroots
probably
campaign.
Probably still one. But I wanted to clear up. Calum says Armen does jujitsu and eats keto. So hot right now. I wanted to clear up. He most certainly does not eat keto.
No, he does not.
Not even close.
Armen eats candy.
Although
it sounds similar to
literally
ice cream every night.
Last night I ate a pint of fish food, Ben & Jerry's fish food, and a bag of Haribo Twin Snakes.
Oh my God.
Twin Snakes.
2 snakes facing each other.
We also have a pitch for a new name for the podcast.
Ooh.
Just Scaled Ring Dips.
Scales are
That's true.
I
Let's
like
take a
that.
moment of silence for all the pecs that were popped.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do the regional workouts. Was just for
I
the
already
fat
made
pecs.
this joke last time.
Was that?
I already made this joke last time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't listen last
That's
week.
fine.
I have, unless I'm on the podcast,
That's fine.
which is weird because every single episode that I'm on, I listen to the whole thing. And I just sit there and I'm like, God damn, I'm funny.
Well, you're a fucking
So
millennial,
fucking
dude.
clever.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I know,
Just so
exactly.
self-absorbed. You need to listen
How's
to
my hair,
yourself.
by the way? Pretty
Looks
good.
fantastic.
Awesome.
For an idiot.
Thanks. Nice.
So there's a lot of pecs that have been like people are popping titties left and right. I believe I used that exact phrase last week as
And
well.
I said not the good kind of popping titties, the
Not-
bad kind
there
of
we
popping
go.
titties.
But
We're
he got
talking
a new
about
laugh
titties
out of
flying
me.
Okay, no one
Yeah.
listened to last week's episode
okay.
anyway.
No, the real game now should be how many jokes can you guys snake in that I will laugh at, and then the rest of you not acknowledge that it was last week, and then I become the butt of the joke. Do you see?
Most
Trying
50%
to
of the
help you
jokes,
guys here.
50% of the jokes were me looking at myself in that and seeing my arm
And
So that was
repeating the
about 50%
phrase,
of the
"Look
jokes.
at my fucking arm."
Probably best he's over there
Yeah.
from now on.
Yeah, I think he really kind of lost privileges of that front seat after what happened. So Daniel pulled up an article that we put, probably the most
Yes.
heartbreaking article.
He was
and
killing it.
he was crushing it. Christian
Yeah.
Lucero, this is what we're talking about right now. Christian Lucero is on the background here, and he was in first
Wearing the
place going
scales
into
needed
Sunday.
man bun.
The official scales needed
that shows
hairdo.
his support for the podcast.
That's right.
Yep.
And
It's like when you wear a safety pin to let
He's-
people know that you're a safe person. Anyone who wears a man bun is doing it to support the Scales Needed podcast.
true.
It's a meme. It's a life meme.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guys,
Social justice.
I wasn't anywhere near like internet or anywhere I could watch regionals during Event 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt it when it happened.
Well,
There was a disturbance in the
there
force.
was a disturbance in the man bun
Yes.
force.
If you have this is an antenna to God.
But I must have missed it because I'm not doing the man bun
you're
anymore.
doing
a-
I
you're doing a
lost
bullet.
it entirely. I didn't feel it at all.
That's why he's lost his
his.
strength.
Yeah.
Because you
true.
need this to catch
true.
cosmic rays.
True.
To
It's
get
like
that thing strength.
it's like we heard a million strands of hair
All cry out at once.
cry out at once and suddenly silence.
It's like when, like when one of those Skeksis dies in Dark Crystal,
Yeah.
and then the other,
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
then
ones
the other
also,
ones-
Seriously
the other one also
referencing Dark
dies,
Crystal.
yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
Aren't, didn't
I'm
Netflix
not only
pick it up?
there's
and
going to
do
be
a
a Dark
sequel?
Crystal series
Yep.
now. There's going to be a sequel
It's a
series.
prequel. It's a prequel.
A prequel series. Because, and I hope it involves the Skeksis and those weird toe-looking things, like just fucking
Yeah.
kung fu battling each other and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, that's I think what it's going to be about.
But why?
I don't know.
Like of all the IP to just dredge out of the fucking garbage bin of history, this is what what's left.
I love the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, it's
Garbage
solid.
bin?
It's
Excuse me.
amazing.
I mean,
Let's rewind there.
Dark Crystal would not be my number one.
But they're remaking everything.
But
we've made it to number 150 at this point.
There's only one number one choice. So once you're done with
And
that,
it already
other
happened.
things,
Yes, at some point when
With
they
Indiana Jones
when they
and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, of course.
when they remake Super Mario Brothers the movie in the same style as Super Mario Brothers the movie, then you'll know that we've hit the end.
Starring John Leguizamo again.
Keep in mind, there's going to be like a Tank Girl movie next year. I'm sure that's.
Oh,
happen.
that's definitely coming.
That's
no
definitely
matter
happening.
What. But yeah, holy shit, guys, I do need that again. You're right.
Actually,
By
yeah.
the way, the timing was way off on that Eon Flux movie. Remember that?
Oh,
That was,
yeah.
that was done at least 10 years before it should have been done. Now we're finally going to get an Eon Flux movie, and it might also be starring Charlize Theron.
Again?
Because why not? She's as hot as she's
Yeah,
hot as
she
Vanessa.
hasn't changed. Not once. She still is. She's maybe hotter now than she was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's like 2005. That's clearly off by 13, 14
We're
years.
going to have a real resurgence of liquid television adaptations.
See, what happens when there's a singularity, right? So we're moving so quickly through all of this old IP that we've been like, just like sort of dredging up from the bottom and recreating. We've gone through the 80s already.
Yep.
We're deep within the 90s and into the early 2000s. Within 3 years, we're going to be through the 2000s.
No, that's not quite that,
Yeah.
because it's moving pretty stepwise through things. Because when I was a young teenager, it was all late 60s. Everything was late 60s. So I think these things move in lockstep. We're
Hey guys,
talking
do you-
about just 20 years
It's
ago.
speeding up, man.
They
Do you
hit,
remember-
No, they hit lockstep. I just want to say they've hit lockstep. However, I honestly believe that now that we've made it to the point where we're nostalgic for the 90s, we will see a definite change because the advancement of, I think, pop culture as this like cohesive unit that had some kind of identity decade to decade or 5 years to 5 years ended in the 1990s because it ended at that point. It ended because of the internet.
Yeah.
So now people were able to segment off into their own little, so there is no identity to the 90s, the early 2000s. We can say like, oh, the early 2000s or late 90s were about boy bands or some little thing like signifier, like their music or some little thing, but it has no cohesive identity because the broader unifying cultural identity of television or pop cultural events stopped at that point. So what's interesting is that now that we've hit this weird short-circuited feedback loop of like we've now become nostalgic for like the last decade that existed, which was the 1990s, and now what's going to happen? Everything since then has been somehow a rehash of something.
It's been derivative
else.
of something that happened right before it.
Short circuit. Daniel's pulled up. Short circuit.
Number 5 is alive.
It's
Number
at
5
some
is
point
alive.
we're gonna start doing remakes of things that happened within the same calendar year. It's gonna be like, and we're rebooting Iron Man
Have
8
you seen the Spider-Man trailer?
into Iron Man. That's exactly.
Yeah.
We're almost there. We're
Yeah,
basically there.
Yeah.
Did you see the poster for Spider-Man?
Oh boy!
Pull up the Spider-Man
Oh, by the way,
posters.
I just want to
I've
point
seen
this out.
various of them.
Just before we get to this, I've seen the shitty
The
Spider-Man
poster's fucking awful.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just another shitty Photoshop poster, right? Oh yeah. There. That's it.
No, that's
Fourth from the right. Yeah. There you go.
There we
There
go.
we
Yeah,
go.
so it's this gigantic poster for Spider-Man Homecoming, which just has everything you could possibly imagine stuffed into it.
Yeah.
And
There
none
were
of
some
it's
good-
coherent.
There were
job.
some good posters for it earlier with him
Yeah.
like laying on the
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
ground.
Oh
or
yeah, no.
something
There's
like
a
that.
really solid one.
I don't know what my favorite part about it is, though. It's either the fact that John Favreau makes an appearance in it,
That was an interesting syllabic emphasis there.
or
John Favreau.
How do you pronounce his name?
Favreau.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah,
John
like, look
Favreau.
at
Put
this.
emphasis on the
Or-
wrong syllable.
Or the fact that the Washington Monument is in the lower corner for some reason. We need to know that there's going to be political intrigue in this movie, guys.
It's really weird because it's one of those things where a lot of people were comparing it to the overstuffed like Tyler Stout Mondo posters and things
Sure.
like that. Where it's just like there are heads and everything from the movie is possibly in there. And so a lot of poster artists started on Twitter talking about like, no, like this is the real bad Photoshop version of what we do, giving comparisons as to what they would have done if given this opportunity.
What's the purple thing next to Michael Keaton's head?
Let's find out.
An energy nexus.
Yeah, that's an energy nexus. That's for sure.
I think I
So
think
the
that
only
is
one
the
that is.
shocker.
It's a nameless bad guy with a gun.
Oh,
yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but so just to circle back to the idea that pop culture has stopped advancing, this is a very interesting one. I was listening to a podcast with Richard Linklater, and he was talking about how when they started the movie Boyhood, project, he said that one of the things that they were looking forward to in the movie was that you were going to watch as as culture evolved around the boy, as styles and how like the style of fashion and music would change over the course of the 12 years. And he said they made the movie, and he said that he was shocked looking back at the movie that the style and fashion and music and everything, the culture was indistinguishable in the first year of the 12 and the last. And he said, could you imagine if they had made Boyhood, which took 12 years to shoot, from like 1968 to 1980? Can you imagine what that would have looked like?
Yeah.
So like full on late 60s, flower power, through everything that was the 1970s and ending in the ending at the outside of the 1980s. That's the same period of time.
Yeah.
And now he said that like the film starts with like the boy, looking like he could be around today, listening to Coldplay, and it ends at basically the exact same point. And that's sort of, it was a wonderful little canary in the coal mine for my understanding.
I think flannel killed all fashion. When flannel shirts, people became fashionably wearing that in the early 90s, pretty much, and it's never stopped since then.
I think flannel is like that dog and in Pompeii. You see the dog writhing on his back made of ash because they just happened to be in that position as the fire hit him, and now he's that forever.
I get it.
Flannel was there in the 90s when pop culture ended.
At the moment pop culture ended, whatever was there is just what we got to live with.
The Vesuvius of the internet that scorched pop culture out of existence, burned into our minds forever. Flannel.
Some things, though, were left behind.
Yes.
Like your initials on a piece of rice in a necklace.
Perennial.
Some things were left behind.
Mad
Although,
balls.
watch out for the new hit Disney movie, Rice with your name on it in a necklace.
Watch out for this,
soon.
the major studio production, Gak, the movie.
My favorite will be the movie all about the mouse pad with your photo on it. Yeah.
Hey guys, I figured out something that we will be nostalgic for in a few years to timestamp a period in culture. When seeing commercials on screen for Subway, Jared Subway, when he's still a celebrity, and a beloved, the most beloved celebrity spokesperson.
You mean like how
generally
10 years ago we were watching a reality TV show called The Apprentice, and now
we are in a reality TV show called The Apprentice.
TV show.
That's great because you can
called
actually
Mad
just Google
Max
movies.
Thunderdome.
You can actually Google movies from the 90s and just start making predictions about what's going to be. Like I actually did this as an experiment, and it took me about 5 minutes to find something. And I was like, you know what we're going to see soon? The Mask. We're
sure.
We're totally going to see an adaptation of The Mask.
Yeah.
That it's going to be huge. I'm going to put my stake in the ground. On the Mask.
You're gonna put your Nostradamus hat on.
That's right.
I'm still waiting for Jim Carrey to come back and do a
Liar Liar 2.
That's a good movie.
That Liar Liar 2, but no, just a not a full reboot, but just a late sequel to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, Part 3.
This is true. That actually very well might happen.
I'm sort of counting on it.
I could see that.
I'm gonna say that one happens before
that's true.
before
That's
the
true.
mask happens.
Yeah, that's true because him returning to Ace Ventura, as preposterous as that sounds, is no less preposterous than Harrison Ford returning to anything that he's returning to right now, and certainly the way of the 90s nostalgia.
However, I will say The Mask has one thing going for it. It is attached to a comic book property, and as such is bankable.
Yes, it could be
or in the eyes of certain people, bankable.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder, are we going to be seeing, so movies like, when are we going to see like the Braveheart remake? You know what I mean? Like we're seeing so many of these remakes of like almost like goofy kids stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to make it darker and we're going to set it
That's
30
the
years
thing,
in the
though,
future. But
certain movies did just change how movies were made, and nothing has much changed since then. Because Braveheart set the template for medieval battle movies. Then no one had ever seen anything like that before Braveheart, and then after that, nothing's really advanced.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, or not?
Lord of the Rings just made it bigger and more
bigger
CG.
with more CG.
Yeah.
Even Game of Thrones. There, it's still a lesser version of the Braveheart battle scenes, basically.
Yeah.
No CGI skeletons, but still, it's pretty much just lesser versions of what Mel Gibson did. In
Or
fucking
remake
late
Braveheart
90s.
with CGI skeletons. Think
It's
about
true.
it.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Braveheart
Yes.
2. It's like that reminds me.
They'll take our lives, but they'll never take our bones. And then they all start running.
Wasn't there supposed to be a Gladiator sequel where like Maximus
Yes.
wakes up in
Oh, right.
purgatory
Yes,
or whatever, and is like has to find
Jesus.
his wife and
That
child's
sounds
like
just
souls,
That sounds just crazy.
and it turned into like a sword and board like might and magic type.
No, it
Oh,
was
man.
God damn it. Hang
Yeah,
on. Yeah, it was
that
Nick,
would have
Nick
been
Cave
oh
wrote
Nick
the fucking
Cave's
script for
Nick
it.
Cave's
And it's
Gladiator
essentially
2.
it's essentially it's Russell Crowe's character like fighting his
Gladiator
way through
2, the
Hades.
bad seed.
No, seriously. But seriously, no, it is one of those things where like look it up, like read through like any good piece on it because it is batshit insane.
Yeah, the
and I would have
synopsis
loved to have
sounds
seen
awesome.
it exist, like
Yeah.
while it could have, you know.
Gladiator, the mercy seat. Let's just name other Nick Cave things.
I don't know any other Nick Cave.
That's it.
things.
Those are the two.
Those are the
Those
two,
are the
right?
those are the
I don't
two
know if
Nick
there's anything
Cave
else.
things.
So let's like Salt Bay a little bit of fitness talking to this. Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall won World's Strongest Man.
Isn't that something?
man.
Which, hold on a second. So there's a few things that are very weird about this. Not that Eddie Hall won. Congratulations, Eddie Hall. I know that you're one of our loyal fans and listeners.
Yep.
But
You say
it's-
that like it's not true.
no, I'm not being sarcastic at all.
Yeah. Sup, Eddie?
It is quite weird that still today, with Eddie Hall being as famous as he is, with Hafthor Bjornsson being as famous as he is, that World's Strongest Man is still not live
Not live.
and produced as a like reality TV show,
Yep.
and they make all the athletes sign NDAs
Yep.
that they cannot.
Say who won.
They can't say who won. So that leads to like just
I
awesome
was
like
reading this,
awesome internet fuckery like
Yeah.
this, right? So Eddie Hall spent the last 10 years saying, I'm going to win World's Strongest Man, and then I'm going to retire. And he wins World's Strongest Man, and he posts something up saying, I can't say how World's Strongest Man went, but I can tell you I'm retired.
It's like, and like, while no official word on who's won, here's a picture of him on Twitter standing atop the podium,
Right,
hoisting
holding-
the trophy above his head.
Right. And or it's like, I took my wife out on a date for the first time in months, and he's standing next to a car where the license plate says Eddie Hall, World's Strongest Man.
It's pretty great.
So Eddie Hall,
Weird North Korean shit going on.
very
here.
odd.
Nothing to see here.
Eddie Hall has won World's Strongest Man. Thor took second place,
Yep.
and Brian Shaw.
Yes,
Brian
but
Shaw took second.
before we move on to that, I think that it's just that what's interesting is that like with Brian Shaw and with Hafthor, it's like the sport has become much more popular. There's more intention on it, but it just seems like they're still stuck in this production model that I guess was in place back when no one gave a shit.
In the
So,
70s?
yeah, exactly. Or even I guess in the 90s, like when you would go eat with your family at Chili's, and they would have a TV on ESPN. And you're like, what's that? And it was the World's Strongest Man. Like that is the production model and like the contract that they're operating under. It's like it's a different world.
Yeah.
The internet exists.
Well,
you know,
The strongman is actually a sport.
yes, people care. It actually has actual stars in it now. So this whole prepackaged TV, release it 3 months later as an edited reality show thing is ridiculous.
It is on the same level, even lesser than my new favorite show, Ultimate Beastmaster.
I haven't watched Ultimate Beastmaster yet. How is Ultimate Beastmaster?
It is whatever. It's American Ninja Warrior, except in
Terry
a
Crews
beast.
is yelling at you the entire time.
In a
That would
beast.
be best.
Oh, and
Some
here's
sort
the
of-
thing I was super excited about. There's international commentators. There's like 6 different tables, 6 different international commentators. Amongst the 2 Brazilian commentators, one is some comedian guy. The other one is Anderson Silva.
Really?
What? Anderson Silva showing tons of personality as a Brazilian commentator. And they occasionally use the foreign commentators. The Korean commentators are the best. Oh, man, they're so hilarious. They're very...
Oh no,
very,
this is Cliff's new Twin Peaks.
Oh my God.
I know.
Kyle Williams here on the feed says
Yes?
the left arm I'm seeing compared to last week's looks extremely malnourished.
Yes, this is true. You know why? You know why it's malnourished?
That is a smaller arm.
You know why it's malnourished? Because I took a week off of training to go to New York. Last week, I assure you, I was much bigger than Cliff, and my arms were much stouter. But unfortunately, I mean, what are you going to do? You lose a lot of muscle mass in 7 days. That's what happens.
That's a fact. That's a scientific fact.
That's science. Anyway, back to strongman.
Yeah, so Eddie Hall has won, and he's now retired, and he's probably going to be a lot healthier for it because he's like basically been training himself and eating himself
made of cheesecake
to near death.
No more cheesecake for dinner every night.
I suspect he'll probably lose like 70 to 80 pounds in the next few months.
But he's still going to compete like in the British circuit.
Yeah, he said he was still going to do like Britain's Strongest Man, that sort of thing, which is fine. That's cool. But there's also been a lot of controversy around the event and his win. One of them being Thor. Thor's like had a rep taken away on his Viking press, and if he had gotten that rep, it would have been a tie, and if he had the tie, it would have been a tiebreaker, and if he had the tiebreaker, he would have won World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And I can see how frustrating it must be to be a podium finisher at World's Strongest Man for like 6 years in a row.
Yeah.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because that morning, he's a beautiful bridesmaid. That morning, he had posted. That's how I first found out about all this stuff. He had posted to Instagram like a sad selfie, or like an angry Thor selfie.
Well, half his face is palsied, so
is that
he
right?
still has Bell's palsy. So half his face was just fine.
I'm gonna say it was still a sad face.
The other half was quite sad.
He was still
angry.
probably sad and angry. But he posted a selfie, and then he said something to the effect of, "I was robbed today. The integrity of the sport that I love has been called into question," or something like that. And then if you look back later on that day, that post had been taken down or had been deleted. So, and I watched the video of the press, and there's a lot of backbend in it, but I don't really know what the standards are for
I don't know what
strongman.
the standard
I think
is.
the standard apparently was no double dipping for it,
you
but
can't
you can't rebend, it can't be a jerk. That said, if they gave him a no rep on the last rep, then either he was robbed or he had a lot of no reps because there was a whole lot of
because they look very
backbending
similar
around
to a lot of the other reps.
several of those 50
It's similar to the ring handstand push-up standards at the CrossFit Games a few years ago. It's like, what is the standard when your whole body is bending like a candy cane?
Oh, by the way, that reminds me of something. This I noted. I actually watched a smidge of regionals this past weekend, and it appears one competitor, Ryan Hignell, got away with a bit of an iffy lockout on his muscle-ups there by getting up there and then locking it out his elbows as he was pushing the rings away from
his
him
body
and on the way back down, not supporting his weight. His judge didn't call any no reps.
Yeah.
Made it pretty fast.
Was he a
for that.
qualifier?
No, just
Who cares?
They did that to a couple. There were a couple athletes like that happened to Dre Strom out of Central.
Yeah.
He jumped up there for his muscle ups in event 5.
Wait,
and we're watching the
Thor video
here
on the TV right now. Let's see, last rep here is this is the one. I'm assuming that is this the one?
He has two more reps.
It's just after this.
Okay.
So Thor sets up.
So that one's good apparently.
Yeah, it looked pretty decent,
and that's the one they take away. I think
that doesn't look bad at all.
I don't know.
Whatever.
It's like there's whatever. I have no idea.
I'm not. I don't.
Yeah.
Know. Either way, but what you're describing, Cliff, Dre Strum out of the Central Regional was basically like stuck on the round of 21 muscle ups for 3.5 minutes because they kept pulling him. They kept taking reps away because he was doing the same thing. He would kind of like lock out as he was falling back.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a really fine line, right? Like between going fast and doing that and over exaggerating it and like tiring yourself out even more. Yeah. So it is very, it's weird that like in one region someone's like, you got away with it, congrats on 7th place, and like another region they're like, fuck you, child. I don't know. So and then on top of that, by the way, there's some really wacky World's Strongest Man conspiracy theories, dude. Yeah. People are like, oh, they gave Eddie fake weights. They gave him the events like 6 or 7 months in advance. They
Why this
programmed it for
conspiracy
him
in
to
favor of
win.
Eddie?
Yeah, why would it be in favor of Eddie Hall as opposed to the huge celebrity fucking on one of the biggest, most popular television shows
If,
in the world?
for example, one of the event organizers for World's Strongest Man also happened to be Eddie Hall's manager, that could possibly
Gotcha.
be a factor.
Is that something that's real? Maybe.
Maybe.
Or not?
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Interesting.
Illuminati.
Yeah.
Flat Earth.
Oh, by the way, just
Chemtrails.
something else needs to get said real quick. Also, Brian Shaw apparently tore his hamstring pretty badly on the deadlift before the last event because in the I watched cell phone video of almost all the events, and the cell phone video of the Atlas Stones, where it's Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw going against each other in the Atlas Stones. At the end, Brian Shaw wins that, so he gets the last stone up, but then collapses on the ground in a very emergency type sprawl right next to Eddie as Eddie's trying to get his last stone up.
That's not
in
good.
a dangerous position. If Eddie slipped, that stone would have fallen on Brian's
Brian
chest.
Shaw, World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw's head was exploded today by a rock.
And so it looked very much like Brian Shaw. If he was gonna choose where to land and sprawl on the ground, it wouldn't have been there. So he was in some serious distress.
He also, you'd have realized, though, Brian Shaw takes up a lot of space when he falls.
It's like he could fall way over there and he'd still be pretty close.
Still be pretty close. So I don't know. I think the fact that there is controversy around it, or I don't even know if the controversy is legitimate or not, but I feel like people were really talking a lot about it. The fact that there is controversy around it just basically tells us what we already know. It's a fucking sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In any sport, there's going to be this type of thing, especially in a sport like this where the events change every year, right? Like, imagine if the games were programmed and there was no barbells and everything was made for, a former Navy SEAL in his early 30s. And it's like, oh, wait, that seems kind of weird, right? So it's like, then in that case, you start asking questions like, whatever, that's fine. But, people were wondering how it's gonna turn out. When they announced the final events, and it was like 3 of the 6 final events were static, movements. It was a press, a pull, and a squat. And
Things
it's like,
that Eddie Hall is very
things
good
that Eddie Hall is the best in the world at.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to pan out into anything. I'm curious to see what Eddie will actually end up doing. He retires, and then what? He retires as World's Strongest Man, and then how does he monetize that? Has he
Swimming.
If he's figured out a way to monetize being World's Strongest Man once. Good on him.
He could go into powerlifting. He could be a very tall powerlifter.
He's not very tall.
Well, he's 6'3", but isn't that's still kind of tall?
No,
for
those
a
big guys
powerlifter.
are about this size.
Guys that size. Yeah.
Well, he has the biggest fucking deadlift in the world, and he has pretty high squat too.
He could be a powerlifter.
I imagine, he'd do pretty well in powerlifting there.
I mean,
healthier lifestyle.
I saw oddly enough, yes. I saw a couple of videos of the deadlifts, and Eddie's deadlift was fucking crazy. It was so strong. It was so. I mean, we already know his deadlift is super strong, but it was wildly strong. And he pulled 475 kilos.
Yeah.
It was just one deadlift. It was just
just one deadlift for max weight. Okay,
and then
was it with a weird bar?
No, it was like a stiff and closely packed bar. So it was really weird because usually you get those bars that have a bend in it. This bar was not like a normal bar. It was like they were standing in it, and they were basically the plates were close. Imagine the setup of a trap bar. Like how close the plates are to you.
A trap bar deadlift.
But on a bar, yes.
Yes.
But on an actual barbell.
And at that, he was the guy. The trap bar deadlift guy.
Trap bar deadlift guy is Eddie Hall. You heard it here first, guys. So it was really impressive. Thor pulled 460 kilos, which is also redonkulous. Like 1,000+ pound pull for a guy his size.
The big thing
makes no fucking sense.
How's the math? So 460, is over 1,000.
460 is like 1020. I want to say
that would have been a world record just a couple of years ago.
Well, the one thing we have seen, it appears, is that all of that work that Thor has been doing has fucking paid off because despite what happened with Eddie Hall and everything, it appears that and that he may or may not have that rep gone a different way of beat him. It's like that Thor has gone from contender to potentially a World's Strongest Man next year and stuff. So
Heir apparent is the word.
Heir apparent. Penultimate.
Is a word.
That's not the
It's a
right
word,
Is
yeah.
a word.
But all that white rice with dextrose sprinkled on top is really paying off with extra size.
Yeah.
All the blending up his food into a smoothie of savory like rice and chicken and salad
That
is
sounds delicious,
really
actually.
gross and
So-
paying off.
I got an update on the poll that we took right now. Who will get 30 ring muscle ups first? Daniel is leading the way with
Yeah.
Really?
All
Huh.
right. All right.
Thank
That's
you.
a lot
Thanks.
of confidence.
Yeah, that's
Daniel
a
has
lot.
the spiritual victory.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. No, I will not get the actual victory,
No.
but you know, that's
It's
cool.
going to happen.
Fair.
I'm going to go to the gym right after this and start training muscle
Speaking of going to the gym,
yeah.
Hey, Armen, quickly, train me in.
speaking of going to the gym, some of us did Murph this week.
Yep.
We
And I applaud your effort.
generally generally talked about that, but Murph is not just a scale as needed thing. Murph is something that a lot of you CrossFitters out there in CrossFit land
Yes.
have also participated in because it's Memorial Day, and that's what you
Yes.
do on Memorial Day. You know who also did Murph on Memorial Day?
Was it Handsome Chase?
Handsome Chase did,
Yeah.
I did.
but other than the two of us, one Mr. Donald Trump Jr.
He sure did.
did Murph
Yep.
on Memorial Day, guys.
Yep. He's
And
very patriotic.
I don't
as
know
is
if
the
you
whole
gu-
family.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but his Murph time was it was all right.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent.
Yep.
He presented it in the most probably the most douchey way possible, which is by putting a picture of him working out and saying something like, I'll read the quote because the quote's fantastic. It says, "Okay, oh boy, after being really inconsistent in my workouts, coming back to Murph is a recipe for disaster. Did okay, but 5 minutes off my PR of 31:56. So, first of all, if you in the caption of your post or in any sort of conversation or explaining what it is you're doing, have to one, mention you haven't been training consistently, two,
Yeah.
that you're off your PR, and three, that your PR is something that's like almost unbelievably good.
yeah.
Douchebag, right?
Douchebag.
That's
Yeah.
a big douchebag conundrum right there. And then the next part of that is a 31:56 Murph, like for realsies.
I don't know if you've heard of a guy, if you guys have heard of him. His name's Josh Bridges.
Yes.
And he happened to win Murph
Joshua.
at the games
Yes.
Yeah.
with time of 34:38.
Yeah. See, I'm wondering if
What you're saying is Josh Bridges could do Murph without a weight vest in
No.
31:56.
Yeah.
What
that's
I'm
basically what I'm
saying
saying
is Donald Trump Jr. may be our next CrossFit Games champion.
yes.
Future CrossFit Games champion and president of the world,
Yes.
Donald Trump Jr.
I just find this very bizarre. It's like Donald Trump Jr. should be well known for being 100% honest with all statements
Yeah.
and having no hyperbole of any kind. If he's to take after his father,
Who chopped down a cherry tree and would not lie.
and would not lie about it.
Would
good.
not lie
That's
about
a
it.
good
That's
point.
Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump for you.
I believe actually rumor has it that there are other.
We're saying he's lying, folks.
No,
We're saying
rumor
he's
has
lying.
it. Rumor has it that there were other world leaders present, and that Kim Jong Un.
you couldn't maintain it. You couldn't maintain it.
Damn it! My stupid inability to say funny things.
The only ones who could beat him are Kim Jong Un and Vladimir Putin.
Kim Jong Un with a 13-minute Murph.
13-minute Murph.
It was very impressive.
That is very
Yeah.
impressive.
I've never
crazy.
seen
That
someone.
means he ran 2 2-minute miles.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a god among men.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more impressive: the one set of 100 pull-ups or the one set of 300 squats. I don't know which one is more impressive. They were both quite wonderful to see.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. So, Donald Trump Jr. I, for one, am
I'm
looking
calling
forward.
shenanigans.
I, for one, am looking forward to our future very fit overlord.
Well, has anyone checked? Does he have more CrossFit workout videos or
Oh!
things posted on his Instagram?
Funny you should say that. He
Yeah.
doesn't quite have anything more similar to that on his Instagram, but what he does have is a Beyond the Whiteboard profile.
Oh.
And on that Beyond the Whiteboard profile, he has a Murph time of 65 minutes listed. And then 40 days after that, he has a Murph time. You want to go to all activity. He has a on the left-hand side. He has a Murph time of 35 minutes. So he also
So
can
he cut like a half hour off, which is pretty
within
good.
5 weeks.
Within 5 weeks.
And he can also shoulder press 105 pounds for 5, and front squat 165 pounds for 3, and front squat 185 pounds for 1.
This
So-
by the way, this is old as hell.
Oh yeah, this is
back
from
to
2013.
Yeah.
This is definitely. He has a 5-minute Fran. But if you keep going all the way back,
The real thing I'm learning is that
shows up there
nothing's stopping any of us from
you go
creating
to
a Beyond the Whiteboard
Heroes
that
on the
has the
website.
name Donald Trump Jr. attached to
That's
it.
true.
And just writing in our own workouts.
Sorry, I don't use this website. What's up?
On the left-hand side, scroll down, go
That
to
is why you
benchmarks,
will
and go to
lose.
heroes.
Get Trump
There you
Jr.
go,
on the show.
and right there
Yeah.
you should see Murph.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
October 15th,
31:46.
he did 31:46.
Wow.
So if you
Yeah.
click Murph
That
right
actually
there,
is semi-consistent. That's almost the same thing he wrote in the Instagram post.
if you click Murph right there, you can see his history of Murph posts.
Yeah.
Quick,
Bummer.
someone give me their login. 'Cause mine
Yeah.
doesn't work
I haven't
anymore.
used
Not on the
years.
podcast.
I definitely stopped paying for Beyond the Whiteboard. So, yeah,
I just got too fit. I don't need it anymore.
yeah, that's right. Once I hit
When my
level
gym
4,
paid for it, it was great.
yeah. So
Alternative
I love
reps.
to track my weigh-ins because it's a biography. My hour-and-a-half weigh-in graph, I can chart. Oh, this is when I did this. This is when I did that. This is that was a rough 3 months.
So
yeah.
Donald Trump Jr. versus Jim from The Office versus Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Who wins?
So we have John Krasinski and Chris Pratt, who have also done Murph.
Oh,
We have
and
Donald Trump
dude
Jr.
from New Girl.
And the dude from New Girl.
Max
That's right.
Greenfield?
Max Greenfield.
Of course he did.
Yeah, it is. He's a CrossFitter. You gotta give it to Pratt in that, right? Am I right? Am I wrong?
If he's training functionally, if it's not just show muscles.
I give it to
really
young
good.
Kurt Russell, young
Young
CGI
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. That guy could do anything.
that's true.
So out
There was no
Young
CGI.
Kurt Russell wins.
Young Kurt Russell.
There was no CGI. There was all just
It was
makeup.
all just makeup.
Makeup and acting.
Which I actually read that apparently Kurt Russell was actually on set doing those scenes in a lot of heavy makeup. Apparently, so that's something worth noting.
Yeah. Do you think he
going
actually though
on.
believes that there was no CGI applied to that?
Wait, speaking of, I need. Wait, hold on a second. I found apparently those scenes were also performed with a double, who was made up to look like young Kurt Russell, and they showed the double, someone of similar build or whatever, and it was this like kind of jacked, good-looking guy, just like good-looking-ish guy. And then I found out the fact, I was watching a video about this, that the young good-looking guy, the actor who they hired, is the kid who was the lead in Heavyweights. The movie the fat kid who was the lead in Heavyweights.
Really?
Grew up, got thin. He
pulled a what's his head?
what's that guy's name? Chris O'Donnell?
Chris
Chris
O'Donnell.
O'Donnell.
He pulled a Chris O'Donnell.
Huh.
And apparently,
He went from
Okay,
chunk
it's
to
not-
chic.
it's not
yeah.
wonder.
So I would like find out who the kid who was the lead in Heavyweights is.
This is
It's just this is the welcome to the Google podcast where
The
you
Google
hear,
podcast.
where you just hear people googling stuff. By the way, and for those of you who have not seen Heavyweights, let's talk about Heavyweights for a minute. Armen, have you seen Heavyweights?
no.
Oh,
I don't
it's
even
so
know what
good.
Heavyweights is. But
All right,
there's
so
a
this is-
sandwich on the cover, and I really want it.
Wait.
Oh my God! Is this the one with Ben
Ben
Stiller
Stiller's
where they go to the
fitness
fat
guy?
camp?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
I watched like 10 minutes of this movie on TV
It's the
once,
best movie
and
ever.
I really want to
Yeah.
watch the whole thing.
It's
best movie
amazing.
ever.
He basically plays himself
same character from
Dodgeball,
Dodgeball, yeah.
and he emotionally abuses all these children.
Exactly.
Right?
This was
Yeah.
this is one of the early Judd
Early
Apatow
Judd
movies.
Apatow movies.
Like
Right.
Judd Apatow wrote it with someone else, I think. Yeah, and Paul Feig is in this as well.
Stephen
Paul,
Burkle.
that's where
Wow.
those guys first came together, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but a lot of the guys who would go on to Freaks and Geeks were all on this movie.
That is
And
fantastic.
it's an amazing movie. Ben Stiller is fantastic in the thing. He plays a fat guy turned thin, much like we will be soon enough with the ketogenic diet. And I don't know, it's just such a fucking good movie. I love Heavyweights. Scale is Nation. Do you like Heavyweights? Chime in.
I was on the fence about it, but I just saw that Kenan Thompson's in it. So
Kenan Thompson
sign
is
me
in
up.
it. I think it's on Netflix now.
Every fat child actor of the day was in Heavyweights, obviously.
Yes, that's true. The fat goalie from Mighty Ducks
Yes.
was in Heavyweights.
Was he? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Aaron Schwartz.
Is that not Kenan?
Is
that
that
him?
He was also in Mighty Ducks, but Mighty Ducks 2.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Is
Yes,
that
there he is.
Aaron
Yeah, that's
Schwartz?
him.
That is totally him.
Look at him.
Wow.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
He
Look at
really
the
did
before and
lose
after.
a lot.
The kid from Heavyweights turned it around.
And
Look at
he
that shit.
smolders really well.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that smolder. Chase, you got to work on that.
Chase, smolder harder.
Quick, smolder.
I can't.
Chase, can
Chase,
you do this?
smolder.
Chase, no
Can you
pressure,
do
but
this?
smolder.
Smolder Chase.
That's the opposite of smoldering.
Yeah, no.
Couldn't get
Just
further
look-
away
that
from
wasn't
smoldering
it.
than what you're doing right now.
That wasn't
Anyway,
it.
we need to get Aaron Schwartz on the podcast and ask him how did he turn it around.
Puberty.
You know,
I think is the
aging
guess.
into his body is probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna guess crunches.
Crunches,
also.
lots of crunches.
Lots of crunches.
We're gonna get
Um,
taken off of Facebook if we keep showing that dude.
No,
Oh,
no
man.
Crunchwrap Supremes, but maybe some crunches.
Yes.
Which is the opposite.
He followed his role model as he lost his weight as he was growing up, Jared from Subway.
Fun fact: Cliff is actually the head of the Jared Fogle Innocence Project.
Yes, that's right.
The JFIP?
The Earth is flat and Jared Fogle is innocent. Official scale is needed position.
Actually, those two are connected.
They
They're
are connected.
they're related facts, but
Yes.
we can't tell you unless you pay
They
us.
want you to think that the Earth is round, so you don't think you can get away, and that Jared Fogle touched children, so that you will eat more sandwiches somehow, or less sandwiches. One of the two, but either way, the man wins. The house always wins.
Did you know?
You ever been to Vegas?
Did you know? One of Kurt Russell's kids is also an actor, and
Yes,
he was in-
Wyatt
he was
Russell
in-
is badass.
He's in 22
He
Jump
was in
Street.
22 Jump Street, and
yeah.
I didn't know that until I saw a picture of them together, and I was like, "Why is the guy from 22 Jump Street staying next to
Yeah.
Kurt Russell?
Dude,
why
I
is his
love-
last name Russell?"
Yes. Wyatt Russell's badass. He's in that. He's in Everybody Wants Some. I love that guy.
He's in
I want to see him in more shit.
Black Mirror too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw his Black Mirror episode. It was directed by the guy who did 10 Cloverfield Lane. It was pretty good.
Handsome man Wyatt Russell.
There he is, looking like Kurt Russell.
You know,
Unavailable for Guardians of the Galaxy. Unavailable.
I have never seen Black Mirror.
Oh, none of them?
None of them.
You should watch the British one.
Is it good?
Well, I mean, it's all Netflix actually just makes it all one thing. So it just says season 1, 2, and 3. But the first
Right.
two seasons were done in England for BBC
And the
Channel
third
4.
season was done with English actors pretending to be Americans very awkwardly.
Well, no, I mean a lot of them are American actors pretending to be Americans.
Some of them are American actors, but a whole lot of them are British actors.
I've
and
only
that
watched
just
the
annoys
first.
me.
I've only watched the first.
Is it
3.
like Twilight Zone?
It's an anthology series.
Yep.
It's like Twilight Zone, but everything's loosely connected by the by themes
By
that
the
have
Black Mirror.
Yeah, but
That's the Black Mirror.
that's the Black Mirror. Is another, which is never actually stated in the show, but it's like they all vaguely have to do with how modern technology, is fucking with us.
Wow, that
our
sounds
lives.
really fucking depressing.
It's really
I-
awesome. Now, do you know any of the plots for any of the?
I don't know
episodes?
anything about Black Mirror
You don't know
other than
anything
it's
about Black
other than
Mirror?
it's kind of like Twilight Zone.
It's so good, man. You got to watch it. All right, so just to give you a hint, like here's what episode 1, and I'll just fucking spoil it for everybody. I won't spoil the ending, but basically here's the setup for episode 1. Some guy posts a video or something, I forget exactly what, letting everyone in England know that he has kidnapped, I think, a girl, and he's going to kill her.
Who's like I think the relative. Of,
Yeah, it does. I don't remember who
matter.
she is, but she's just not the relative of anybody. He's like, I'm going to kill this girl unless the Prime Minister goes on live TV and has sex with a pig. And that's the premise. And it's just watching the Prime Minister and his cabinet and all of his people and publicists deal with this crisis
Armen's
and
face.
eventually work their way towards there's no other way out of this. You'll end your political career if you don't have sex with this pig, and watch them go and like how it goes through all of like the nitty-gritty of like, can we fake it? And they're talking to special effects people, and then like as the public outcries and there's protests calling for, you can't let this girl die and blah 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 blah, and it's all from the perspective of the Prime Minister as he just inches towards the inevitable. And it's the darkest, weirdest
Is it
shit ever.
supposed
and it's
to be
amazing.
funny?
There's humor in it, but it is black
It is,
humor.
yeah. There's some. I just saw the Christmas special there, and boy, there's some funny stuff in it.
Oh,
but
I didn't even mention the Christmas special.
That's as dark black comedy as you
Hamm.
can possibly get. Yeah, John Hamm
yeah.
is in the Christmas special, which
Yeah.
is great. It's a Christmas special is like an hour and a half long, and it's
Yeah.
3 shorts. Three connected shorts in one.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like an extra season of the show because each season's only
Oh.
the British version each season's only 3 episodes long, but the Netflix series is 6 episodes.
yeah,
So,
but it's
So it's not that many episodes.
not that many.
No,
Yeah.
no. It's
Yeah. And-
British TV. There's nothing.
every one of them is about the length of like a short movie, a little more than an hour, I think, and they're just everyone like. Yeah, there's probably 2 in each of the first British seasons that are just absolute fucking masterpieces, and then 1 in each that's pretty good. The guy from Get Out, the guy who's leading Get Out, was the star of one of the OK episodes of the British series. But and just to give you another setup for one, just because I love teasing this one, it's like this is the darkest, most skin crawly shit in the world is in episode, I think, 3 of the Netflix series. This one actually takes place in England, so it's one of the British episodes of the Netflix season 3. Is it just starts with this premise, which is, a kid, just regular kid, works at a restaurant, goes on his computer, implies that he goes on his computer and jerks off, and then he, while he's finishing up and he's wiping off, he gets a message on his computer, like he opens an email, and it's a video from someone who hacked his webcam that's of him jerking off, and it says, do what we say or we were going to send this video to everyone you know. And they just keep asking him to do initially simple things, and that's the premise, and it shows that which is a totally possible thing that people could do, and they have him continue to do things, and it goes to the most unbelievably black and dark place you can possibly imagine. It is fucking staggering. It left me disturbed by the end of it.
Moral of the story is always make sure your lighting's on point.
Yeah,
no matter what
exactly. It's like, see, Handsome Chase is like, put that video out there. It'll just, let him see what I'm working with. But no, the moral is, and this is serious. Like after that, I was like, I need to put tape over my computer, my camera immediately.
At all times.
On all of my devices, because it's anyway that. And some of them are more.
Some have
fiction-y.
more science. Some get actually to wacky, far near-ish future sci-fi concepts.
Yeah,
that's really weird.
It is, but they're really fucking
Armen's
good.
worst fear of real life.
Yeah. Seriously.
That's actually the reason I haven't seen the remaining 3 episodes of the Netflix series. I've only watched the first 3. It was like I made it through to that episode and was like, I need to take a minute and just sort of walked away from the thing.
I mean, I have been watching a lot of Rick and Morty recently.
Yes.
And I blitzed my way through the entirety of the first 2 seasons the past couple weeks.
Let's talk about some of the amazing episodes in season 2, like the brain parasites
episode.
Oh, that really does have to be my favorite.
Mr. Poopy Butt.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Now, oh my God, I realized now that you've seen.
We can talk about that
we can
secret
talk
plot
about
thing
the
that we were
secret
talking
plot
about.
thing, yeah.
Now, so I've Googled it a couple times, but I don't know if I've stumbled onto the thing.
Have you watched the video? It's about an 11-minute long video.
Yes, I watched that.
You watched that, okay?
Yeah.
With the secret of the ticket and the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes.
So that was the thing. Not to spoil it for anybody, but yeah, there is a video out there that basically says the way especially the Mr. Poopy Butthole aspect of that episode resolves is a bit odd, because it seems kind of just like a wackadoo fuck off kind of an ending that's just there for a sick joke at the end, where you assume that this character must be an imposter, and then it's revealed that he's not, but then there's an opening title crawl that implies that he's been with them the whole time, blah 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 blah. But that's not really Rick and Morty's style, to just have a kind of like everything is so well integrated into
everything's real tight.
this, like really tight into the science fiction conceit of the whole series, the multi-dimensional thing, that there's a video that proposes that episode actually does not take place in the household of Rick C-137, which is the primary timeline of the series. But
guys,
in fact,
if you haven't seen this series, you're going to be confused by everything he is saying.
You
right
fucking
now.
deserve to be.
Yeah, it
confused.
doesn't even matter. Just go watch
But keep
it.
going
Yeah.
quickly.
But Rick C-137, so instead it takes place in one of the other timelines. And I initially thought, okay, that's a funny idea. It would account for the thing. That's silly. Blah, 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 blah. But then it goes in and actually picks apart a series of Easter eggs within that episode that indicate, and other episodes that tie back into it, that seem to point directly to the fact that the Rick and Morty that we were watching in that episode are in fact an alternate dimension Rick and Morty, including like in a previous episode wherein it is in, and part of it is that on the previous, like the Blitz and Chits episode, that's also a different Rick and Morty, and they switch these tickets that are in a thing they switch their Jerry's, and then it goes back to they're collecting the rocks with little pink things in them, and at the opening of the brain parasite episode he dumps the rocks into the trash can at the beginning, so it comes back, which it seems to be, once I saw that, as direct an indication as I needed that in fact it just boggles the mind. Such a good series. So
anyway.
Anyway.
It is fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, before I watched the entirety of of the first 2 seasons, the only seasons that exist. I actually, the first episode I ever watched was the Blips and Chits episode.
Yeah.
I watched that like as a one-off.
I just like killing people.
I watched it as a one-off, and I was like, "This show is amazing."
Crumbopulous Michael.
K. Michael.
So Blitz and Just, that's the one with the multiple Jerrys and
Multiple
Jerrys,
Jerrys. Yeah, they put Jerry in a daycare.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
Jerry's,
For
yeah.
Jerry's.
And then that has so many like. If you wanted to introduce someone to Rick and Morty, I feel like that is one of the episodes to do it, because it has the multiple Jerrys, it has K. Michael, and it has like, God damn it, Morty, you went back to the carpet store after surviving cancer. You beat cancer and you went back to the carpet store.
What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name you're playing?
I don't remember.
It's just like
he's taking him off.
He's taking Dave off the grid.
If you do not watch
Just
Rick
the
and
scariest part is
Morty,
when he wakes up from the video game. So for those who hadn't seen, there's a video game where basically he puts on a headphone.
Sorry, I didn't know what you were talking about.
He puts on.
It took me a while to remember.
They just go to a video arcade, and one of the video arcade games is just putting on like a headset and then living the entire life of a guy. I forget his name is like Dave or something like that. Where you like literally like go from his childhood to getting married to like fighting cancer and then coming back from cancer and then dying and this whole thing. But the best part is when Morty rips the head glass off and he goes, "Where's my wife?" And you just realize that Morty has just been traumatized by leading the entire man's life, and then just Rick hops on.
there's so many, and you know, for a show that's only 2 seasons and like 18 episodes, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not even 2 long seasons. For a show that's 2 seasons and relatively short. The setup for the 3rd season is kind of fucking crazy. I mean, there's so many different things that directions it can go in. I mean, there's Evil Morty, which they didn't even talk about in the 2nd season at all. And then I don't remember what bird person.
Actually, I heard Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland talking about that like they were in mid-production. I think it was when I went to go see them live. I saw them live at the Alamo Ritz when they were promoting season 2, and they were talking about like they were online reading all these theories about how Evil Morty was going to come back and factor into season 2, and they were like, "Oh shit, we probably should have written him into season 2." We weren't really planning on bringing him back, but I guess that we should have done that. And so they said, but that's one of the things I love about it is that like even in season 2, with the exception of interdimensional cable, they said they thought, should we do another Meeseeks episode? Should we do whatever? And they just did. And it's like, no, let's just make a bunch of other or completely original, completely brilliant episodes.
It is very easy. It would have been so easy for them to like fall back on what they covered in the first season.
We haven't talked about interdimensional cable. I love Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog.
Oh my god.
Werner Herzog playing the voice of that guy.
I was gonna text you guys when Werner Herzog showed. I was like, I can't believe.
I know these Earthmen. I have spent time among them. They've spent so much value on their penis. They have Werner Herzog saying lines like, "I've seen them at parties, like holding various things in front of their groins, a pencil, a bottle, and saying, 'I'm Mr. So-and-so Dick, and I have such and such for a penis.'" And it's so fucking good. It's so good.
That is.
You're right. I should rewatch all of that.
Yes.
Good idea.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
I just keep revisiting them constantly. Yeah, it's like always at the top of my Hulu watch list.
It never fails
because I just keep going back. It's one of the few shows where there are certain episodes like the one with the brain parasites where I have probably watched that episode 6 times. You know, it's just like keep going back, do it over and over and over again. So and keep noticing new things because it's so dense.
And it kind of does like something I think Futurama did first, which is sprinkle in some real fucking heavy shit.
Yes, some heavy science fiction stuff.
Well, no, I mean like
stuff,
emotionally very heavy shit.
Although I think has not gotten to the emotional highs that Futurama was able to get to yet.
True. Futurama had such a long time to build to episodes like
the dog
episode or the brother episode or
the Sting is one of my favorite ones. That's the whole one where like they go in at the beginning and and like they go into the big beehive and they're like eating the psychedelic
the honey,
and like Fry dies at the beginning of the episode and like the whole episode, and like that for me was one of the big pinnacles of the show. And then it's like it's some trippy ass like mortality versus like more mortality, immortality, like what's real and dreams, like all being fused together in really subtle ways. It was just one of the best things. That and the episode where Bender floats through space alone.
Alone. That is a fantastic
meets God at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, is that one? There's also the holophoner episode as well.
Yes,
that's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I want to say that was actually the end of their initial run.
Yeah,
is that what that was?
The holophoner ending was written because at the time that was the original run, and so they wrote it at the time not knowing if that was going to be the last episode or not. And for a while it appeared that was the last episode, and then it went on like all shows do now.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Soon enough.
season 2 of Rick and Morty ends with Nine Inch Nails hurt.
Yes,
so,
it sure does.
So I mean, if you're talking about getting at least as depressing a song as can fucking possibly exist, you're pretty much there.
Speaking of man buns, is Samurai Jack back yet?
Yes,
it is back and it's
finished up. It's run, so you can watch all of them at once.
Yeah,
Nice.
I have not watched any Samurai Jack, any of the new Samurai Jack.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I've heard it's pretty decent.
Sweet.
No, I heard that
I hear
there's some
it's
really
really dark.
cool. Yeah. So I heard there's some really, really cool stuff, like kind of playing with the idea and the concept of the show itself.
Yeah.
And that, it's a good run.
I tried to watch, I don't know if you guys ever watched Dragon Ball Z, but I tried to watch some of the new, and it was kind of like, I was like, man, was it because I was in high school that this was really good, or was this just not good anymore?
I could just never get past the title. It's Dragon Balls.
It is,
guys.
it
Why are you
is.
saying Dragon Ball Z
Dragon Balls.
as if you're trying to be serious about it or something?
Yeah.
How can you watch
way.
a show called Dragon Balls that's not a comedy show?
That's not
that's
about
actually
a
trying to
dragon's
take
balls.
its title seriously.
Yeah. Well, there's entire episodes of men yelling at each other, so it could
Yeah.
actually just be about a dragon's balls.
I didn't realize that Dragon Ball Z was that held such a big play, because I think I was slightly too old for it when it because I think it came to America a little bit past that point. But I've just seen so many like weird shitty articles being forwarded of like, if Goku fought Superman, who would win? And I'm like, I don't care. Just no, let's not move on. Anyway.
Hands down, Goku though.
See, he's the right
Sorry.
age. Chase thinks that
it is things like, even when I was that age, I was not about Dragon Ball Z. I was a Gundam kid.
Oh shit, Gundam
Way
was
better.
good
I don't even
stuff.
know what that
Way
is.
fucking better.
I've never even heard of that.
but
But at least it has a title that could be serious.
Big, giant fucking war
giant
robots.
robots.
Okay.
Fighting each other. It's
That's good.
fantastic.
It's good.
I am also working my way through One Punch Man.
Yeah,
that's fun
I
stuff.
think,
That
I'm,
is
I think I'm
good.
about halfway through the season.
Yeah.
The only season
I've
that
watched
fucking exists.
for the first half of the season, and
It's great.
It's really funny. Yeah, I want to continue, but it's at a certain point tapped out because I'm like, oh, every episode really is the exact same.
Right.
It has the exact same punchline to every episode. Literally punchline.
punchline.
Yeah.
There's Yeah, I don't know what I expected. After the
Yeah.
first couple episodes, I was like, man, I wonder if he ever actually meets something that he's nope.
Just keeps punching.
I've watched all of it. There's some interesting emotional wrinkles that happen in it.
Interesting.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I do love. It's such a wonderful little send up of that whole genre, you
Yeah.
know. And even as someone who's not really terribly familiar with that genre, it's interesting. It's just fun. I like the episode where all the other characters have intense backstories and all of this dramatic reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. Anyway, good stuff.
Yeah. So
Cartoons.
Cartoons.
This week on Skills Needed, cartoons.
Yep. You beat me to it.
I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. I don't
Yeah.
know about you guys.
Haven't covered everything
Let's
I want to talk about.
Val
but-
Voboril real quick.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it crazy that she made it to the games again? She's
Yeah,
38 years old.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And a mom.
And a school teacher
And a school teacher.
who trains an hour a day
Yeah.
and occasionally on the weekends.
Uh-huh. She is built different.
She is fantastic.
And
yeah.
she just follows her gym's programming.
Yeah, she just
if I've
follows the
heard
gym's
correctly.
programming.
She's just like, I'm just one of the fittest people in the world. It just sort of happened.
We actually just interviewed her on the Wadcast last night,
Oh, yeah?
and she's awesome. But she was like, yeah, I think I probably have to do a little bit more volume going into the games because they tend to be a little bit more brutal. But I don't know, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Like they'll probably throw a barbell out there, but whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? She was saying once the regional events were announced, like she got like messages from like China and like all the other girls like damn it, Val. Like, you're going to be winning some of these events now.
I think this is a lesson that is generalizable to a lot of people out there. Unless you can just train a little bit and kind of effortlessly sail yourself right into regionals, you really shouldn't bother.
No.
Stop training so hard, folks. Stop training so hard.
Yeah.
If you can follow just your gym's programming for a while and then somehow find yourself in regionals, if you're one of those people, then maybe you have a shot. But if you're doing multiple things a day and following, Misfit and Outlaw and all those other things, and
Then why?
Why? Why
What's
bother?
the point? What's the point?
You have better things
It's because
to do.
nothing matters and you can assign value to anything you want.
Exactly. You sure can. But here's an interesting factoid. California Regional on the women's side, Lauren Fisher is the only one who's in her 20s who qualified.
Wow.
China Cho, Val Voboril, others.
Nice.
Pedri.
Was that?
Pedri.
Yeah, and everyone. So I clicked through, and everyone is China Cho is the second youngest. She's 30 years old. So.
Pedri and Voboril both qualified as
Yeah,
masters.
she's 35. Yeah. So they're technically
This
masters.
is the first time that an athlete has qualified for both the Masters games and the regular games, I guess. And it happened twice in the
one
same region,
yeah.
in the same division.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that says about Masters athletes.
Plus, it'll
or
happen more and
programming.
more as they keep lowering the Masters age. So when they have like a 22-year-old Masters category, it just keeps creeping its way down.
The
year
CrossFit
year.
Games, the official CrossFit Games will just be from like 18 to 21. Just the prime age of athleticism for CrossFit at that point.
It'll just be the teenagers competition.
Yeah, but Val Voboril is very impressive, and
Yeah.
she's a tiny little badass.
Yes.
And it's gonna be very fun to watch her whoop some ass on some of those
Yes.
events, because she will definitely fucking crush some of those events out there. I mean, you put a heavy barbell in her hands, and she's gonna have some trouble. But
Plus, if certain things show up in the games programming, like teaching people how to spell, for instance, if that were to show up for time, obviously,
right, obviously,
that would advantage Voboril.
assigning book reports. She's gonna crush event 4. Assign 5 book reports as quickly as possible.
Lining people up in front of the cubbies.
Organizing a group of children to go from one classroom to the next classroom.
Eating microwaved salmon at her desk.
Microwaved salmon?
Microwaved salmon.
Microwave salmon.
Yeah.
It's the healthiest kind of salmon.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very true.
The microwaving adds extra nutrients.
Yes.
Yes.
It actually takes out any negative nutrients.
Yeah.
Sitting Indian style.
I wish, honestly, the wind sound, I wish that was picked up in these mics, because that was just such a perfect, everyone went quiet and all that you could hear was the
In a
of the
circle
AC.
of other people who are also sitting Indian style
See,
reading books.
folks might not be aware of this, but there is a constant snowstorm going on outside of this studio,
At all
24
times.
hours a day,
Yeah.
365 a year.
We record in hell.
Yes.
Which is why
Yeah.
it's
Frozen
like that.
hell.
Frozen hell. Ever since the election. It's weird.
Just
Ever
like
since those pigs flew and hell froze over. All right, so I think we're going to call it here today. We definitely covered so much fitness talk. I
So
mean,
much.
just an exhausting amount of
Too
fitness
much.
talk. Chase, do we have any comments or anything that we need to cover before we close this out?
People want us to do what the Wadcast is doing and have a shoe design off.
What?
We need a shirt more
A
than
shirt?
anything.
what's happening? I don't. If I listened to the Wadcast, I would know.
It's fine. So Wadcast is doing like
People
Nike
want more
Metcon
opportunities
designs.
to win shoes.
Right. They want Nike. They have a Nike Metcon design off, and then like the
like using the website function.
yeah.
Okay.
and then the winners get to pick the winners get a pair.
This,
and then
this
we
here's
get
the scale
pairs
is
or
needed
something.
version. Go to the customizable Converse the Converse
Oh,
Chucks
yeah.
website and design a sick ass pair of Chucks, and then send us those as fans
Actually,
of Chucks.
buy them and send them to us.
Yes, send us shoes because we're not paid very much money.
No.
So send us shoes, please.
All
For
right.
every pair of shoes that you send us, we will wear them.
Yes, we will. At least once. And so, I don't know. Do we have any new reviews? We have plenty
so
of
I'm
European
very-
reviews.
So I'm very disappointed. I don't see any new American reviews.
Un- Unbelievable.
Come on, Scalers Nation.
Yeah, Tom
fucking
Financial
believable.
Advisor is our last buddy.
Tom
Yeah.
Financial.
Yeah, so we
Advisor.
got plenty of reviews apparently in the outside of the
international.
U.S., the international demographics, but we can't quite figure out a way to read who
So
wrote them. I
we-
have all of them, but I don't have who
Yeah,
wrote
so
them.
we've been able to find out a way to read some of them. but we can't get all of them. So if anyone out there knows how, please let us know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does GB mean Great Britain?
Great Britain.
Great
so we
Britain.
got
So
two
we
Great
have
Britain reviews,
Hey!
and they are attributed. So we can actually personally thank.
Let's
these
do
two
these.
people.
So we'll read these two. These are one of them is obviously quite old, but that's fine. Axe No One X says, because they said they'll read the reviews out loud. 5 stars. 3 men feel the burden of having to talk about fitness when all they really want to do is talk about TV, films, and Prague.
This is true.
Fact.
If you're starting to listen to this at the same time as beginning to watch Westworld, you're on to a winner. They'll describe every episode for you. I've not watched a single
Wait,
episode.
pause. Can you finish this in a British accent?
I've not watched a single episode, but regularly join in conversations about it. That was bad. That was really bad. Confident that I know every bit of minutia there is to know about the series. That's really like Australian. What was happening there?
It sounded like you were trying to do a British person doing an American
Yeah,
accent.
it was really bad.
Blimey, mate. I'm from England. I'm a Rossalus crocodile.
Oi, governor.
Everything in Cara Webb's voice.
Everything in Cara Webb's voice. On the Australian ones, I
No,
will.
Cara Webb.
Cara Webb?
Cara Webb.
Basically
Cara
a cheat
Webb.
sheet of a podcast for a test you'll never take.
And Tia Clear to me.
Tia Claire Toomey versus Cara Webb.
It's
Ramble in the jungle.
It's easiest to do an
That was my
Australian
favorite
accent when you
regional
just
watch.
say their names. Tia Claire Toomey, Alethea Boone.
Alethea Boone.
An epic showdown of the sort you'll never see ever again.
She's a crocodile of a woman.
Fucking legend, mate. And then we have a review from
Fantastic.
Neil Cook.
That's more New Zealand.
When I was directing Lord of the Rings.
Let's see. Neil Cook says scale as wanted. 5
Naomi
stars.
Watts.
Just
So I went off.
saying. Mad Max, The Theory Road. Currently my favorite podcast. Funny, insightful, and interesting. Good mix of pop culture, film, and fitness. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you to the two of you and more who have left these international reviews. I'm sorry that the internet is not allowing us to read them.
We will be able to read your reviews as soon as Daniel can figure out the 2-letter version of your website URL iTunes. Yeah, AU. Holy shit, we found Australia.
Hold on now. Hold on now. There are 8. There are 8.
Just
okay.
like
Here we go. Okay, here we go. Josh Nisbet.
this thing on scale is needed. We discovered the continent of Australia.
Above average squat strength, 5 stars. Great podcast, legends, mix of pop culture, humor, and a little bit of fitnessing. The real reason for my 5-star review is this podcast has got me back into CrossFit recently as I left the hashtag community a while back as it became way too much like high school and I was never part of the cool crowd. I ended up hating CrossFit and focusing solely on the powerlifts because I was naturally above average and these being a larger
He's in
dude.
the zone, you guys.
After listening to Kyle and Cliff talk, I realize it's fine if I'm never gonna be linking ring muscle ups or going to regionals. I'm stronger than the
Gonorrhea?
average CrossFitter bloke in a very specific area, so that makes me better than them. Better.
Yes.
Quite better than them.
Better.
So I'm back doing CrossFit and being very mediocre at it, but with
You're just a baby
That's
now.
really bad. But with comfort, I know I'll out squat and deadlift 100% of other people in my class. Oh, and Armen, you're quite cool too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You know who's never going to be on the podcast now? Cara Webb.
Anyone with an Australian accent.
Cara Webb.
Only rating this to get it read on the podcast, 5 stars by GTrain24. A good mix of fitness, modern culture, and humor. If you have a spare hour or 2 per week and require entertainment, you could listen to worse stuff than this. Hashtag not banned and deleted here yet. Thank you very much. Thoroughly enjoyable, 5 stars by Cakeman. have thoroughly enjoyed this podcast. Good mix of humor and an honest approach to fitness. Earlier podcast about Rich Frowning's penis literally had me crying. You could say you had me at Rich Frowning's penis.
Thank you, Cake Man.
Wow, I am sweating.
So
like
big
a pig
thanks.
right now. That was fantastic.
Big thing. I hope that Cake Man, G Train 24, and Josh Nisbet are still with us.
Hold on,
Guys.
give me DE. Let's see if
Damn
we got
it,
some
you took
German.
my idea.
Let's see if we got some German in there.
German for Fitler.
We discovered Germany. Oh, but we don't have any reviews from Germany.
We need to get Giannis on.
Boo. Oh,
What the fuck are you talking about?
oh no, damn, dude, that's a lot for German.
This podcast is fun, entertaining, and sometimes informative in weightlifting, cross/CrossFit topics. It is sad that I look forward to the single. You're in my way, Dan. To the single hour once a week. Does this mean I have a sad life, or is this podcast just beyond funny? I have even got texts from my buddy I already heard the latest episode. I just want to... I can't do this.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
It's very hard.
It's very difficult.
It's mentally taxing.
You can do
This
this.
is so long. I just want to listen. I just want to listen to the Bogart brothers, spelled with a Z in here. Chris, LOL.
Yeah, it's funny because his name isn't Chris.
Chris and Kyle talking smack about each other in the gym, and hear Armen laughing out loud, bending back from the mic. You guys do great. In Germany, we have a saying. Wer das Wurst ist du, which means we really appreciate your doing. Greetings. I don't know what that means.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was,
We appreciate your effort.
That is
Das Wurst
from
ist
Small
du.
Paul Wall. And then there is...
Yes.
Hold on, go back. We got one more. Yeah, from How to Reactivate iTunes for This. Says, best... Best
You're doing Hans and Franz.
Australian.
You know who I was actually doing? I was doing the German guy from Heavyweights. The actor's a German coach in Heavyweights.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't have a really good... I have like... Best...
Hans and Franz it. Do it.
Yeah, best CrossFit podcast sorta.
I really hope Giannis is listening
But
to this
it's
right now.
but it's all the other stuff that makes this a great podcast to listen to. I had to reactivate my iTunes account just to post this review so we can get closer to someone ingesting too much off-brand Chinese sorts pre-workout. Yeah. Also, need closure on trap bar deadlift guy. Someone needs to go talk with him and find out what the fuck is he doing and why. You're right. You're totally right. Had to
Yes.
reactivate iTunes for this.
And you know what?
God
You know
damn.
what's happened now. You know what's happened now.
We have to do all of them in accents?
No. What's
Thank
happened now
God.
with that specific reading is that Fitler is finally coming to his own.
Fitler.
Yeah,
That you've now found your Fitler voice.
das ist
So the
gut.
first person who can animate that reading of Armen's voice to a Terrence and Phillip version of his flapping head with the Hitler mustache on it wins a prize from Armen, who will send him shoes or something.
No prize involved for that.
Yeah.
I
By the
will
way,
not
good-
reward that
Good
behavior.
job there, Armen. Your switch from the Australian to German. I don't know if it caught it on camera,
And we
but
lost
I
both
laughed
of them.
hard enough that water shot out of my nose.
Fantastic.
It shot out of my nose.
Fantastic. I think that was a successful reading of a few reviews, guys.
That's
I
the
think that's
best.
how it's done.
Time-
Let's just put it up for our international crowd.
And with the international reviews, I know you had a tally last week. What are we at right now?
We're pretty close to 150, unfortunately.
By the way,
Good
you
solid number, pretty close.
you guys, now please send us the 2-letter suffix for your,
Yeah, just
for your
all
country.
oh man.
It took months for us
is
to
there
figure out how this
NZ?
works.
Is there New Zealand?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
gotta
I don't
be.
think
Although
that
We're gonna
happens.
save that for next
but I
time.
at least want to see. I want to see.
There's got to be one or two, right?
It's all right. It's just hot tag.
not
Just
a
wait,
space.
Yeah, you did it wrong.
Oh man.
There sure enough is.
Kyle's just hitting random
criticize
buttons.
No
Oh,
reviews.
no
No New
reviews
Zealand.
Come on,
from
New
the
Zealand.
Kiwis.
on,
First
hobbits.
New Zealander to write a review gets a prize. And that prize is you
tote
get your
bag.
review right on that.
You get a tote bag.
have
Anyway,
tote
I think that should be about it right there. Kyle, your social media.
I'm at Mr. Kyle Bogart on the best goddamn Instagram account on the internet.
I'm at Cliff Bogart on the worst goddamn Instagram account on the internet.
I'm at a Supersonic Man on a mediocre Instagram account. And I'm also the host of Hot Tag, coming up live next on Flow Slam.
And Chase?
You can find me on Chase at Chase504 on all of the things. Man, I flubbed that up.
You
Dad.
really did fuck that up.
Now do it in an accent.
An accent of your choosing.
While smoldering.
I barely got through it in English. It was written in front of me, and I still messed it up.
We
Brutal.
haven't even found any of the potentially offensive accents, by the way.
Yes.
I'm not. There's gotta be.
Japan really is the one that I want to do. Let's be honest here. JP, give it to me. Let's see. I've got to see before I check. Before we leave, I've got to see if that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Hot damn!
Oh, yeah.
Tell me. Yes.
Our reach does not reach there.
I have brought dishonor to my family.
And now we will never get a Japanese review. Good job, Armen.
That's done.
You can find me on Instagram at Armen
At Armen Hostaru.
on Ara the Things. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for listening to Scare as a Needed. And what? Yes, dude.
Chase really marketed the shit. I think we found our clip for marketing.
Thanks so much, folks, for listening to this episode, and we will catch you next week. Later.